All right, so today we have what? The Japanese player that broke
For decades,
volleyball.
Japanese volleyball
Dude, I think this guy's vertical is like absolutely nuts, by the way.
struggled to hold international attention, overshadowed by towering competition from Europe and the Americas. Then came Yuji Nishida,
Can you guys hear it okay? Let me turn it up.
an athlete that didn't even meet volleyball height standards, an underdog with no reputation but a cannon for an
Nishida.
arm and a monster vertical. Suddenly,
I can swing like
stadiums
that.
filled, social media buzzed, young players like him felt seen for the first time. Watch closely as we're about to unravel the story of one of, if not the most well-known
God
volleyball.
damn, bro. Look at this. We got
About to
motherfuckers
unravel the
hype,
story
by the way.
of one of,
No, that's not okay.
if not the most well-known volleyball
What the
player
fuck? Motherfuckers
in
flying,
modern
bro.
day history. And to do that, you have to start at the beginning. For Yuji Nishida, everything started in Inabe, Mie Prefecture, a quiet city without elite volleyball systems or the resources
Bro, Japan's so fucking beautiful, man.
of Japan's sporting capitals. Volleyball wasn't just an afterthought in his family, it was a part of life. All his siblings played, and as the youngest, Nishida slipped into the sports almost by default. He officially started playing volleyball at the age of 5, and that early exposure built a sense of belonging. What began as a routine soon became something else. By elementary school, Nishida was already making noise. At 10, he helped his team win the 29th All-Japan Volleyball Tournament in Mie Prefecture. It was a small stage, but the win mattered. He didn't stand out for his height.
Bro, I think playing volleyball in like a Japanese like gym is so underrated. Like, I don't know what it is about this gym, but that shit just looks clean, no?
Stood out for his instincts. Recognition was slow to follow.
Hold up, let me rewatch this real quick.
At 10,
As
he helped
everybody
his team win
rewatches
the
this, by the way.
29th All-Japan Volleyball Tournament in Mie Prefecture. It was a small stage, but the
So this
win
is him?
mattered. He didn't stand out for his height, he stood out for his instincts.
God
Recognition was slow to
damn,
follow. In a country where opposite hitters often top 1.9 meters, Nishida's
6'8"?
growth curve looked
Holy fuck.
average at best. Scouts overlooked him. In their eyes, volleyball at the highest level was a game for the tall, the physically gifted, the ones who fit the mold. Nishida didn't. But those judgments didn't sit with Nishida.
6'8".
He had his
Imagine
own
that
inspiration, a left-handed powerhouse by the name of Kunihiro Shimizu. Shimizu was a two-time Olympian for 2008 and 2012, a multi-time V-League champion with Panasonic Panthers, and a former best scorer at the Asian Championship. He also served as Japan's national team captain and was their primary opposite for nearly a decade.
Oppo.
Watching
Lefty
Shimizu
Oppo.
dominate as an opposite hitter for Japan's top teams planted a seed in Nishida. He didn't see himself as the odd one out. He saw a path forward. Shimizu became the model, and for Nishida, something to chase. The power, the timing, the killer instinct. It wasn't just admiration, it was ambition. If Shimizu could compete on the Olympic stage, why couldn't he? Still, nothing about Nishida's trajectory would come easily. Japan has a prestigious tradition of powerhouse volleyball high schools. Schools like Higashi Fukuoka and Seijo, where top talent competes under the best
those volleyball
coaches,
powerhouses
often going
have
on
to
to
go
national glory.
fucking
These were the
crazy, by the
pipelines
way.
for elite players,
to
but
go
Nishida
insane.
didn't follow the crowd. Instead of joining a proven program, he chose Kaisei High School, an underdog school with no history of national titles in volleyball. Most saw this as a risk. Kaisei didn't offer the prestige or the resources of the big-name schools. But for Nishida, it was never about shortcuts or borrowed reputation. He wanted to prove that success could come from anywhere, and that greatness was about work, not prestige. He made every minute count. Alongside Kaisei, Nishida trained with Verity and Mia, a local under-19 club. He practiced with 3 different teams, chasing as much competition and as many perspectives as possible. By the time he reached the Mie Prefectural High School Championship, Nishida wasn't just fitting in, he was leading. Under his command, Verity and Mia won the under-19
so
boys
young
division of the Mie Prefecture Young Volleyball Championship, and then a national title. Here was a teenager, still considered undersized for his position, dominating at every level he could reach. There were no spotlights in small-town gyms. National scouts weren't lining
See, doesn't that just look so clean? Like, doesn't that just look so good? Like so,
bleachers.
bro. Japanese gyms, they do it right, man. They know what they're doing.
But Nishida's edge sharpened in these overlooked places. He studied defenders, read the courts, and built a left-handed swing that turned blockers into bystanders.
He's
But the
left-handed?
real test was still ahead. At 17, Nishida was about to step into a world where the pace was faster, the hitters taller, pressure relentless. Our protagonist would now enter professional volleyball. Yuji Nishida's first steps onto a professional court weren't marked by fanfare. They were marked by uncertainty. On January 6, 2018, he made his V-League debut for the JTEKT Stings against Osaka Blazers' Sakai. The Stings were known for chasing.
Do you see how packed this is, by the way? This is insane. One of the problems with volleyball in the United States is like we don't have a league like this. So most people that play volleyball in high school or college, they have nowhere else to go after that. Unless you go play like beach, which is like AVP. But if you want to play like actual professional volleyball, we don't have a league. So a lot of people go to Europe, but like they're selling out crowds in a starting men's game. That's insane. I think one of my goals is to go to Japan and go to a volleyball game. Men's league. Oh, what's his face? I think even TJ DeFalco. He went to he's in Japan. He was in Japan playing for them, for their league.
Debuted for the JTEKT Stings against Osaka Blazers' Sakai. The Stings were known for chasing titles, and Nishida was hardly the prototype of an opposite hitter. He was young, untested, and underestimated. The V-League, notorious for its tactical blocking schemes and veteran lineups, wasn't a place that forgave inexperience. Most expected him to blend in, maybe even struggle. Instead, he put up 26 points in his first match. He was no background player, but the focal point of the Stings' attack. Every time he rose above the net, the crowd's expectations shifted. His debut was no fluke, and as the season wore on, Nishida's impact only grew.
Japan is so cool. Seeing a game live would be so
finished
fun.
his rookie campaign not just as a promising newcomer, but as a force teams had to
sold
plan
out
around.
too.
His efforts earned him the Best New Player award for the 2018-19 V-League season, shared
Rookie
with
MVP?
Issei Otake from the Panasonic Panthers. He also picked up the Best New Player award at the Kurashiki tournament, a nod from another corner of Japanese volleyball that this wasn't a one-off miracle. It was a sign of things to come. There's a moment in every sport when a player's impact moves beyond the box score. With Nishida, it happened fast. His performances became a reference point for what was possible. He was no longer just a promising rookie. He was the player everyone wanted to watch, the one who made every rally feel like it could be history. There was no hesitation in Nishida's arrival on the international stage. On May 25th, 2018 in Rouen, France, he pulled on the Japanese national jersey for the first time at the FIVB Volleyball Men's National League. With no gradual introduction, he was in the starting lineup against Australia. A decision like that signaled something rare. The coaching staff...
Guys, 2018 was 8 years ago.
didn't just see potential in Nishida, they believed he could transform Japan's hopes. His impact was immediate, and his performances continued to accelerate. Then came a defining moment in 2019. At just 19 years old, Nishida played a pivotal role in Japan's FIVB campaign,
Australia
helping the team to a fourth-place finish, the highest in 28 years. Along the way, he became the youngest player to ever drop 30 points in a match at the World Championship. To those who watched, it felt like he'd torn up the script of what had been possible for Japanese volleyball in modern history. When Nishida was named the tournament's best opposite, it wasn't just a personal accolade, it was proof of a larger shift, a sign that Japan's volleyball legacy, stagnant for decades on the international stage, could still be revived. But carrying the weight of resurgence came with immense pressure. Japan's history with the sport was storied, but distant, highlighted by an iconic gold medal win at the 1972 Munich Olympics. For years, though, it felt like the country had been watching rather than competing on the world stage. As Nishida climbed higher, media coverage around him intensified.
I'm like,
he wasn't just playing for his own growth, he was becoming the symbol of a generation intent on bringing Japan back to global relevance. The 2019 Volleyball Nations League became another showcase. Against Bulgaria, Nishida hammered 7 aces in a single match,
7
setting a serving
aces?
record.
Oh
It wasn't merely
God.
dominance, it was a technical display that reflected the versatility of his game. In moments when momentum was at risk, Nishida's serves became weapons, rattling defenses and swinging games in Japan's favor. Then came the Tokyo Olympics. The weight of expectation wasn't just national.
Dude, you know what bugs me about the Tokyo Olympics, actually? Is I loved Japan. Okay. From a young age, loved it. I was so hyped about the Tokyo Olympics. Like, I was so hyped. Could not wait to show off this beautiful country for Summer Olympics. Summer Olympics are definitely better than winter. So I was so excited. And then COVID. COVID literally destroyed the Olympics for Japan. Oh, it's so sad. So unlucky to have like COVID at the time where like the Olympics were going on in Japan. Just imagine like, just think how much better it would be if like the Olympics like didn't, or like COVID didn't nuke the Olympics, you know?
It was personal. Nishida's Olympic debut presented the rarest kind of moment, representing his country on home soil during an event delayed by a global pandemic. In the men's volleyball tournament, Nishida stood out, becoming the first player in the men's division to surpass 30 points in a single match during the rally scoring era. His 105 total points across the tournament, which is an insane number, is clear proof he could carry his team.
How did Japan trip booked when COVID happened? Had to cancel it all.
Their best Olympic result in 29 years. Nishida wasn't
satisfied. Have you gone back?
But the significance wasn't lost on those who witnessed it. His presence alone had reignited excitement for a sport that had been long seen as secondary to Japan's larger international pursuits. Beyond the court, Nishida's influence was harder to measure, but impossible to miss. Social media.
Wait, what sports are Japan known for? Baseball. I mean, I guess it's not literally like known for. Like, I guess US has it, but like, what's that guy's name? Oh fuck, what's his name? The really big baseball player. Baseball, sumo wrestling, and gymnastics is up there? Interesting.
Profiles, fan clubs, and even comparisons to fictional characters like Shoi Hinata from the anime Haikyuu linked him to Japan's cultural consciousness. These comparisons weren't just playful, they reflected the way the public resonated with Nishida's story. Like Hinata, Nishida was a player who didn't fit the mold, who took his size deficit and turned it into an advantage.
Oh my
players,
god.
Nishida became proof that
okay, so like technically
deficit and
I mean the ball hits the ground, but like this is so dangerous, by the way.
Advantage.
He's over the net. Look at him, he's under. If I was this guy or this guy, I'd be fucking pissed. So much room for like injury. This is where people get injured the most of volleyball. Is when someone pushes under the net. He's also has such a wide approach. Teacher DeFalco was like literally notorious for this. He would like jump over here and then he would like slide through here.
To younger players, Nishida
I think they actually changed that rule.
Became proof that volleyball in Japan had a new face, and it didn't have to look like 6'8" towering figures dominating Europe and the Americas. Nishida's presence grew even more. He built a YouTube channel.
The old rule used to be if the ball touched the ground before you went under the net, it was clean. But I think they changed it for player safety, which was like nice.
With 500,000 subs that offered a glimpse behind the scenes. He didn't hide from the spotlight. He even used to say that he wanted to share his journey, and people listened. His approachability and honesty set him apart in a sports culture that often kept its stars at a distance. But Nishida never saw himself as just an individual icon. His rise came alongside a supporting cast that was equally determined to change the narrative. Players like Yuki Ishikawa and Run Takahashi formed a trio
Ishikawa's a beast.
Nishida that embodied synergy. They didn't rely solely on isolated brilliance. Instead, their combined effort became the foundation of Japan's sharp, fast-paced playing style that left stronger, taller teams scrambling to keep up. The evolution of Japan's volleyball brought stadiums to life. Any match that even mentioned Japan was surging in viewership. For the first time in decades, the stands were overflowing with young fans, many there just to see Nishida in action. Each time he leapt into the air for a blistering spike or fired an ace that sent the crowd into chaos, it wasn't just points being scored, it was belief being restored. But every ascent brings new challenges. For Nishida, The next step would take him far from home, into a league where the rules and rhythms were different, and where the obstacles would test him in ways he could have never imagined. But before we get to that, I've been scripting this for the past 3 weeks. Research, editing, planning. I'm tired. I'm really new to this space, so this really puts a load on me. So I would absolutely appreciate you guys supporting me by subscribing. We are so close to 1K subscribers, and
1K?
we might even pass it by the time this is out. But please
19K.
continue with the support,
bro.
turn on post notifications, and stick around for a while with me. And I assure you, I will be consistent on uploads. Lots of milestones ahead of us, and who knows, you might be my day ones when this whole thing goes well for me. And I will remember you.
See how laggy this is?
Enough talk.
What the fuck is going on?
Yuji Nishida's move to Volley Calipo for the 2021 to 2022 Series A season marked a new test. On August 9th, 2021, he left Japan and stepped into the heart of Italy's...
You know what's interesting? I don't know why he's so laggy. That he leaves Japan to go to Italy for their volleyball league.
top league, a place where every match demanded more than raw talent. The early days hinted at promise. Even in training, teammates and coaches noticed his speed, his vertical, his ability to find angles and strategize on spot. Italian fans were curious. Could a 21-year-old from Japan deliver against Europe's best?
21?
There's belief. But barely weeks into his Serie A campaign, that momentum came to a grinding halt. In April 2021, during a team scrimmage, Nishida suffered a left ankle sprain. It was the kind of injury that could derail momentum before it even builds.
So left ankle, so this one.
He sat out, watching as his new team adjusted to the demands
of
builds. He sat out, watching as his new team adjusted to the demands of the league without him. The timing could not have been any worse. Just as he was learning the...
Did he step on anybody?
...momentum before it even builds. He sat out, watching as his new team... team adjusted to the demands of the league without him. The timing could not have been any worse. Just as he was learning the rhythm of the Italian game, he was forced...
You know, I was going to say, it's very hard. One of the problems that I think volleyball is facing is like, believe it or not, volleyball is like very injury prone, and is very injury prone on like your legs, like your knees and your ankles. Oh my god. Oh my fuck. Specifically, there we go. Your knee. Like you put so much like pressure or so much pain and so much like repeated like stress on your knee that it's like your knees become so weak. So like for basketball, I think like D Rose, like one of the, he injured his knee, no? But anyways, like I was watching something on basketball where like they would jump up and they would like dunk it, but then they would land on like one foot. And if you keep continually landing on one foot or like one knee or like one leg, it just puts so much pressure or so much stress on that one leg. But so what people do in basketball now is if you ever watch, they'll dunk and then they'll hold on to the rim so that they can land on two legs and cushion the blow. But volleyball has no system that you can cushion the blow. So you just pound and pound and pound and pound your knees and your legs until they're basically just like so torn that you take a wrong step or your ankle just can't support that anymore. So it's just like, it's kind of sad. And there's not a lot of like recovery or like technology that can help with volleyball because it's not that big of a sport. So there's not a lot of things you can do. Like big wise, I guess. You got injured when you were a cheerleader? What kind of injury?
He returned, determined to regain form, but in November, a calf injury struck. To lay off
a calf injury. Jeez.
Months apart, each one chipping away at his sense of progress. This absolutely crushed him mentally and physically, but that wasn't the end for him, because after returning from that ankle injury, Nishida re-entered the lineup determined to regain his rhythm. But no sooner was he finding that his calf gave out, sidelining him once again. These back-to-back injuries were more than physical hurdles. They were mental trials.
My ligament snapped in my ankle. Oh my god. Because I was in the air and they threw me up to do tricks. I landed badly on my back. After being thrown up.
Nishida found himself in uncharted territory.
And you never did cheerleading again.
Far from home, isolated in a country where cultural and language barriers added layers of difficulty to an already grueling situation. His rehabilitation process was slow and methodical, but between the gym sessions and physical therapy, another challenge loomed. Doubt. For once in his life, Nishida couldn't rely on his sheer athleticism or his devastating power. He had to evolve. The adjustments came incrementally. He focused on timing, adjusting his approach to overcome blockers faster than he ever had. He worked on his angles, refining the deceptive precision that had served him well in Japan. Slowly, the pieces of his game began to mold into something deadly. January 12, 2022. Mostly healthy, Nishida returned to the court and delivered a performance that answered every question about his place in Italy. Against Monza, he scored 29 points. It wasn't just the volume, but the variety. Powerful swings, clever tips, and a serve that was an absolute weapon. In that same stretch, he set a Serie A record with 8 aces in a single match. The numbers told their own story. He could not only compete, but dominate even after months of rehab and recalibration. Who does this? By the end of the season, Nishida had rebuilt himself. Physically, he was strong. Tactically, he was sharper. He'd earned respect in one of volleyball's toughest leagues.
That guy
not
is
through flash, but through persistence and evolution. The injuries that sidelined him had forced him a kind of growth that raw talent alone couldn't even offer. He later returned to Japan in 2022, and that's where the story shifts. Because for Nishida, the next question wasn't about recovery. It was about what it means to define greatness on your own terms, beyond just sport. Over time, Nishida became more than just a player, and it became really solidified when his story took an entirely new dimension. On December 31st, 2022, he married Sarina Koga, captain of Japan's women's national volleyball team.
Oh,
the
dope. I didn't know that.
Was more than just a headline. These are two athletes at the top of their game, navigating long distance, packed schedules, and the constant pressure of elite sport. They understood the grind. They shared the setbacks and the small victories. For Nishida, it meant learning to balance ambition with perspective, knowing that legacy isn't built in isolation. He became the players others looked up to in tense moments, not because he demanded it, but because he earned it. His presence on the court signaled composure. His teammates trusted his decisions. Opponents respected his unpredictability. The leadership wasn't loud. It was measured, consistent, and rooted in a way that he played the game. He made it clear that greatness could come from anywhere, in any form. And as the sports continued to evolve, Nishida's example stood as a reminder. What matters most isn't where you start or even how high you jump, but how far you're willing to push the limits of expectation. After Paris 2024, Yuji Nishida shocked fans by announcing he would take a break from the national team to recover from chronic injuries and mental fatigue. His absence left a vacuum, but his comeback was equally telling. In April 2025, newly appointed coach Laurent Tilly included Nishida in the 43-man preliminary squad for VNL, suggesting his role will be carefully managed, with Tiang Ying off weeks and readiness in focus. Looking back, few athletes define an era like he's done. In 2024, he led Japan to its first ever VNL silver, a watershed moment that ended a nearly 50-year drought. And he did it while balancing Olympic prep and club commitments. Nishida's image now embodies modern Japanese sports identity. He is what volleyball needed to bounce back into global relevance, bringing new fans to the sport and igniting a global movement. In fact, my first exposure to volleyball was actually through him. I just happened to see his clips hanging in the air for an absurd amount of time before baptizing the ball in pure violence. I couldn't get enough of his sheer power and jump and finesse. I mean, Nishida Airlines was just peak volleyball for me, and one of the most satisfying things to watch. I hope the next time we see him on that stage, he comes back smashing aces multiple times.
Is that for motherfucker's heel is above the net? That has to be photoshopped. There's no way. Motherfucker's heel is above the net.
Times in a row like he always does when he debuts. He did announce he will be playing in the next Olympics, which is a bit too long for comfort. I don't know where we will see him elsewhere, but I know this. I'll be watching. And if you made it this far, maybe you will be too. Drop your favorite Nishida.
Yo, W video, bro. Yo, W video.